Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Such Good Shoot. We're just doing a short intro tonight. I'm your host, Dozer. That's another host, Shane. There's Isaac. And we have a very, very special guest tonight. We have the one, the only Vince Russo.
Dozer, you already blew it because when you pointed to Isaac, pointed outside the box, bro.
It's every time.
It'll
never end. Ever.
Mess it up every time.
Just always point up. He's up. What's going on, gentlemen? The first thing I got to comment on is when I first saw your handsome faces, Isaac and Shane and Dozer. The first thing I thought of was, bro, is Shane Tony Schiavone's illegitimate?
Yo, yes.
Bro,
thank you.
Like, what? Tony, wait a minute.
I know, right?
That's a running joke forever, man. Oh, we gotta hit him up. Maybe he can be just me for a show. I just want to be there.
And bro, you're also a little. I'll tell you who else you're a little of. Maybe in his younger years, a little. I'm a big Jack Black guy. You got a little.
Get that too.
Yeah, you got a little Blackish in you too, bro.
You're just confirming everything that everyone says. This is everyone's favorite show already.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, it's true though. We do call him Tony Schiavone all the time. Oh, that's funny though, man. Well, it's really good to have you here. I'm one of the things we want to do is I've got a couple little questions, and then we kind of want to get in and do a little fantasy booking kind of stuff. But just, like the basic stuff, like in the beginning, like what was like the thing that got you interested in pro wrestling in the first place?
Well, bro, the thing that still interests me today, bro, I'm a mark for characters, man. I love characters. I love interesting people. The reason why I say that is I actually live in a retirement community. And there's an elderly black man, and he takes care of the sprinklers. And bro, the guy is always blatantly ripping me off because I'm in a adult community where most of the people are 80. I think sometimes he forgets I'm 60. So this guy blatantly rips me off every time I need work done. But I gladly give him the money because he's a character and he entertains me to this. So when I was first drawn to wrestling, I was definitely drawn to the character. I mean, bro, the first three people I ever saw, and you know what, bro? When I look back now, 50 years ago, whatever it was, I don't know if I've seen three greater characters to this day. The first three characters that appeared on my TV were the Valiant Brothers and Lou Albano. And bro, when that's the first thing you see, you're like, what is this?
Well, we talked about this a couple of times. Like the first character I remember seeing was Tatanka.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, what the fuck is like, why? Like, none of it made any sense.
Right.
Like, if you take it out of like the context of like professional wrestling, like you never have a guy like a Native American showing up to a boxing match, So I'm just like, what is happening? And like, yeah, that drew me in, and like, that resonates.
Yeah.
And so did you just want to be a wrestler? Did you want to be a writer? I mean, you ended up going and training, right? I mean, at Johnny Rod's, right?
Yeah, bro, there's a lot of misnomers out there about me because like people, they just want the folklore to be a certain way. Okay. Bro, when I was in about the 6th grade, I knew I wanted to be a writer. I did not know what. I mean, really, bro, as I got older, as I went to college, like I had hopes and dreams of Hollywood television, movies, because I was a big entertainment mark. But I got married right out of college, so that never happened. Okay. Bro, the reason why I got a job in wrestling, honestly, was I needed a job. I had 2 video stores at the time, and Blockbuster was in the process of putting me out of business. I needed a job. And I made a connection with somebody that was in the wrestling business. And the reason why I made that connection was I thought maybe this is a good way to get my foot in the door because I needed a job. The whole idea with me going to Johnny Rodz' school at Gleason's gym was because, bro, if I was going to get into this thing and make a career of this, I wanted to understand all aspects of it. I wanted to really understand how this thing worked. So when I went to Rodz' school, bro, to me, it was like an extension of college, or it was like going for a master's. I never, ever wanted to be a wrestler. I never wanted to be a manager. I wanted to know how this system worked and how this business worked. And it was just like going to school down there at Gleason's gym. And that's where I really learned the core of what the wrestling business was.
Yeah. That must have been quite an experience, like just going. So you're just, how long did you train with him?
Bro, it was probably about 6 months or so, probably about 6 months. And this is when like a lot of the ECW guys were going through there. Like, you know, Devon was going through there, and, you know, Vito, you know, LaGrasso, I'm still good friends with Vito. A lot of those guys were going through there. But, you know, again, bro, it was an education for me. I really wanted to see how this thing worked. But I can remember like working my first indie show. And just kind of, I remember like one of the first things I saw was Special Delivery Jones laying out a match with his opponent. And bro, like I remember just taking a couple of steps back and listen, I wanted to see how this worked. I wanted to hear the structure. I wanted to really have an understanding of this business. And I'm thrilled that I went to Johnny's school. You know, me and Johnny still keep in touch to this day. He's one of the real dudes, and it was a great education, man.
Real quick, I was just curious. So, did everyone else that was in the school at the time, did they know that you were like there to just like learn the ins and outs? No, I was gonna say, so you went, so you kept the pretense that you wanted to be a wrestler. Okay,
yeah, I was bumping like everybody else. I was doing every single thing that they did. So they just thought I wanted to be a wrestler or a manager or whatever.
Man,
very cool.
Gleason's is like an institution, man.
Oh yeah, bro.
So like outside of wrestling, like what kind of people did you see at that point?
In Gleason's?
Yeah.
Bro, that's the real deal, bro. You know, I mean, bro, you know, when you watch the Rocky movies and they're at, you know, they're at that little corner gym in Philly. I mean, bro, that's what it is. Because bro, wrestling was a small portion of Gleason's. It was a boxer's gym.
Yeah.
So, bro, you had, you know, Golden Glove guys there. I mean, you know, bro, spitting on the, like, it was raw. It was about as real as it gets. And, you know, it's funny that you bring that up, bro, because like just thinking about it, I'm lucky that I was able to be in that environment for a little while.
And at that time too, like what a special time and place to be like a part of it. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure it's still like a pretty cool place, but you know, I'm sure like a lot of New York City and Brooklyn, it's lost a lot of the the edge. I think that made it an exciting place to be at that time. So
yeah,
that's awesome. So from there, I mean, you started the Vicious Vincent's World of Wrestling, and I mean, and that was just a way to write, but you wrote a letter to Linda too, or around there, right?
Yeah, but bro, I'll tell you how everything comes full circle, man. When I did, you know, again, bro, I needed a job. So when I was doing Vicious Vincent's World of Wrestling, I was paying for my own airtime. I didn't know how I was going to get into the wrestling business. I didn't know how it was going to work, but I knew like, okay, but bro, I got to tell you something. While I was doing Vicious Vincent's World of Wrestling, bro, I fell in love with radio. Like if at that point somebody would have offered me a DJ job, I would have. And bro, that's eventually what brought me into podcasting.
Well, it is. It's the same. It's an independent.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved radio, bro. And literally, I was running out of money to fund my own show. And again, bro, I'm like, okay, bro, I'm not going to sit here and write Vince McMahon a letter like, Joe Mark. But I bet you Linda McMahon does not get a lot of mail. Now, bro, I think a lot of this is karma, I believe, because I wrote a letter to Linda McMahon. Bro, I had no idea Linda was in charge of publications. I had no idea the magazine was under Linda. I had no idea. I was just writing to Linda McMahon. I don't know what I was looking for. But, again, bro, you talk about karma. She wrote back to me. She saw my resume. I do have a degree in journalism. Now, these guys that would want you to believe they do. And she basically said, listen, man, I'm going to tell the editor of the magazine, his name was Everett Shooter, I'm going to tell him about you to give you a call. And sure enough, Ed called me. Me and Ed hit it off. Ed was an East Coast guy. And he started giving me freelance stories for the WWF magazine, and that's how I got my foot in the door.
That was Vic Venom. Do you remember what you wrote in that letter?
Just what I done, where I was. I'm out of
cover
money. Like, I'm out of money. I don't think I could do this for much longer. Really, just looking for an opportunity, and not even, like I said, bro. Definitely not asking for a specific one, because I really didn't know what Linda did there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shot,
Yeah,
you take your shot,
absolutely, man.
See where it hits and go from there. That's an incredible luck, man. And just like sometimes, it's worth it just to take the chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Wow, man, that's And so, were you? What did you think when you got this letter back? I mean,
no, I didn't get a letter back. I got a call, bro. I got a call.
Oh.
I got a call one day. What was her assistant's name? Oh, geez, I can't remember. Liz DeFabio. Vince, this is Liz DeFabio. Linda McMahon's blah blah blah. Linda would like to speak to you.
Like,
bro, total shock.
That's awesome.
Is that like a shit your pants moment? Like, or did you just like, I have nothing else to lose, so like I'm just gonna go in.
Shane, I gotta be honest with you. If I was like truly a wrestling mark, it would have been a shit my pants moment. But bro, you got to understand, I've got a wife and a young child at the time. This is job. Bro, it doesn't matter that it's WWE. It was the potential of this turning into a job. That was a big thing for me, bro.
And man, what a job, man, it ended up being. Like,
that's a hell of a story. Like,
yeah, bro, what it turned into, guys, was not a plan, was not on my radar. I never thought I'd be writing television, producing television, creating these characters. When I tell you guys, as the head of the household and the provider of my family, I needed a job. and that was my number one concern. I did not go into that office in that building with intentions of doing what I did. I was just happy to have a full-time job.
Sometimes that's the motivation.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of pro wrestling, though. Like, that's what, you hear a lot of these guys, and it's a lot of these just, especially, guys from, more your time, before they had the NXT and, everything else. But you hear all these incredible stories of people just saying, fuck it, and moving to Mexico. You know what I mean? And you have all of these, legendary, figures in wrestling, and they all have these just batshit crazy and, insane stories.
Well, it's like Godfather.
Pro wrestling as a whole. You know what I mean? That's
but Godfather being discovered on on Over the Top, like one of the
Yeah.
The weirdest movies, like action movies ever about arm wrestling.
Great movie though. I've seen that several times.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's so funny. It is
Yeah.
a really funny movie in a lot of ways. But like, I mean, the first time I saw it, I was expecting like a classic action movie,
Right?
And it's all arm wrestling. I'm like, oh, this is really intense. But yeah, that's really interesting. And speaking of the Godfather, like one of the things he talked about was the episode of the Dark Side of the Brawl for All, and he was saying that like a lot of the stuff that they talked about, especially in regards to you on that, he didn't think it rang true to like what he remembered. Do you feel like that was like a kind of a misrepresentation?
Yeah, bro. There's an agenda with the Dark Side series, and bro, listen. I've got to make one thing perfectly clear, and you guys know this with our experience here. Okay, bro, I work for myself, and at this point in my life, my time is money. I mean, when I'm doing something, I've got to be earning income. I mean, I just have to be. So, with Dark Side of the Ring, bro, I'm not one of these guys with an ego that I got to see myself on television but no, bro. Like, okay, what are you guys going to pay me to do this? Yeah. You want my time? You want to come to my house and film me? Okay, what's the offer? So, they paid me well, and that's why I did the show from a business perspective. Yeah. But after doing the show, they definitely, bro, they're trying to tell their story. I learned that in watching it back. And, bro, I told those guys, I told them flat out, I said, listen, if you ever want me to do another one of these ever, I said, I'll consider it under one condition. I said, you hook everybody up to a lie detector test. Hook everybody up to a lie detector test when they're telling their stories. I will be the first one in line. I said, but if you're not going to do that, I said, you know what, bro, going forward, I'm not going to get into these things where it's my word against yours. And it's such a massive, massive waste of time. Bro, the bottom line is my job was to pitch Vince McMahon idea after idea. Bro, like machine gun, like nonstop. That was my job. Brawl for All was one of those ideas based on something Bradshaw said to me. It was one of those ideas, and bro, Vince bid on the idea. Yeah. So Vince was like, yeah, I like that. We're going to do this. Okay. Now, bro, I say this and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Okay. Bro, if we knew back then what we know today about CTE and head trauma, I wouldn't have pitched it. I would not have pitched it, bro. And I'm not talking about, guys, pulling muscles and tearing hair. I'm not talking about that stuff, bro, because that stuff happens in the ring. Yeah. I'm talking about, guys getting punched with a Bart gun, right hook. I would have never, if I knew then what I know now, I would have never pitched that. We didn't know that then. So to me, the pitching of the Brawl for All, bro, that was one of a million pitches I made to Vince McMahon.
And nothing, and I mean, people like to, like point fingers, but nothing really gets done. Nothing ends up on TV in WWE or WWF without Vince saying it's okay.
It's his show, bro. And that was my job as the creative guy. Yeah. That's my job. And, like I said, Bradshaw made that comment to me. If this were real and if this were a bar fight, I'd knock everybody up. And like in my mind, I was like, really? I don't know about that. And then I had the conversation with Vince, and that's how the Brawl for All happened.
Well, yeah. Well, I just remember watching it, and then when we talked to Godfather, we interviewed him, and that was one of the things he said. He said, "Yeah, it's like that's definitely not like my understanding of the situation. So I was like, oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and those guys had the option, bro. They were offered money. You want to do this, you don't want to do it. No, nobody was pressured into doing it. It was all, whether or not they wanted to do it or not. You hear the rumors of, oh, bro, we had this guy set up to win and this guy. None of that is true, bro. We never talked about Dr. Death going out. None. This was a 100% shoot. Now, we all had our thoughts of who we thought was going to win, but nothing like this was not done to create a guy. We had no idea what the outcome of this thing was going to be.
So, I mean, what would have happened if, say, Dr. Death did win? I mean, there was just nothing like really going forward from that? Would it have always ended up with a fight with Butterbean?
No, I'm not necessarily, bro. I mean, we would have definitely talked about it and probably done something about it, and it would have changed with whoever won. So the creative would have definitely been discussed. Bro, like one of the problems with Bart going over was, bro, you got to understand, like Austin was the kingpin at the time. And bro,
rightfully so.
And what was holding Bart down at that point was his personality and was his character. So now all of a sudden you got a guy, bro, that, now he's going to have to get into verbal jars with Austin. Now he's going to have to go one-on-one with Austin. And if that wasn't his strong suit, that was going to be difficult to do. So as a writer, bro, after Bart won this thing impressively, it was difficult to write something because his promo and his talking skills just weren't his strong point. So that made it difficult.
Well, I think the match that Austin got at WrestleMania 15 was probably going to be a little better than Austin versus Gunn anyway. Yeah. And speaking of Austin, I saw him on one of his podcasts, and he talked about you and he praised you, and he said that he loved working with you. He actually called you like a creative genius, and he said it was really great working with you. And he said one of the things, and it's one of the things that you said, is that one of the things that was really nice is that, like, you had all these ideas, but you also had someone like Vince McMahon to sort of filter, like as a creative filter.
Bro, Vince McMahon didn't filter shit.
No,
bro, that is such a misnomer because, really? Bro, if Vince McMahon filtered stuff, let's just go to logic. If Vince McMahon is this great filter, then what the hell's going on today? I mean, seriously, if he's the filter, if he's the gatekeeper of what appears on TV, what the hell is going on, bro? Here was the success of the period. First of all, bro, just so you guys know, me and Ed Ferrara wrote the show from soup to nuts. We would come up with the show, we would jot down all our notes, we would then present that show to Vince. Vince, this is what we have. And we would walk him through the entire show. We would get Vince's blessing. Then we would go back and write that show. But I mean, bro, every nook and cranny of that show. Then we would take that finished show and hand it to Vince McMahon. And here's where Vince McMahon would make his little tweaks. But, bro, his little tweaks were genius. I will tell you that. Vince McMahon could take an 8 and turn it into a 10. But you cannot give Vince McMahon a blank piece of paper and think he's going to write a good television show because we see what's happening today. He can make – if you give Vince good material, he could always up it up a notch. That was the genius of Vince McMahon. Bro, the success of that period when you bring up Austin was working with those guys. It was a partnership. So me and Ed Ferrara would sit there, okay, this is what we got for Rock. This is what we got for Austin. This is what we got for Mick. This is what we got for DX. This is what we got with Taker. Then we would get with them And it's a discussion now. It's like, okay, guys, this is what we have. This is why we wrote it. This is what we're thinking. And at that point, they're throwing in their 2 cents. And bro, 9 times out of 10, they're making it better. But it was a collaborated effort, bro. Everybody was involved in the creative process. That's why it was successful. These are smart men and women. They're smart individuals. This is their career. This is their livelihood. They're creative beings. And it was a collaboration with everybody, bro. Everybody had a say into what they were doing.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And I mean, I guess when you say it was just you and Ed Ferraro. I mean, do you know how many people are on the writing team now at WWE?
Bro, I know. I almost went back. I left in October of 1999. I almost went back in 2002. And they brought me into a writer's room. And bro, there were at least 20 people in that room. So they went from 2 people to 20 people in less than 3 years. And I remember walking in that room like, what the F happened? Like, how did you get from a 2-man team to this in less than 3 years? And bro, I could tell everybody was getting into each other's way, and there were levels of approval, and this one's in charge of SmackDown and this one's in charge of Raw, and they got to report to Stephanie, and then Stephanie goes to Vince. Bro, in 2002, the structure was such a mess that I knew, bro, I knew me personally, I could never be successful with the structure they had in place at that time. And it was only 3 years later, bro.
Wow. And do you think that there was any of that interconnection between the writers' room and the wrestlers at that point?
Absolutely not. Because, bro, what you had, there are a lot of young guys. And, bro, in wrestling, intimidation is a big factor. Bro, when I started writing for the WWE, I wasn't a hired wrestling mark. Bro, I was in my mid-30s. I had worked for CBS. I had run my own business. These guys were not going to intimidate me like I was some wrestling, and they knew that. And that's why, bro, there was always a mutual respect. But, bro, they're not going to respect some 24-year-old walking in the door, a wrestling fan, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed that, you know, is going to piss their pants when they meet Austin. They're not going to respect somebody like that. You know, like I said, bro, I was well into my 30s. I had, you know, worked for a living, you know, in major companies, and it was just a level of respect.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, so, just having that connection, you can feel that it's missing these days.
Yep.
Yeah. So real quick, I was just listening to you talk about, you know, running the show back in 1999. You hear all these stories today about Vince, you know, ripping the entire show up an hour before, you know, the show, whatever. Were you guys writing everything the day of, like a Raw, everything on a Monday? This was okay,
bro. By Friday morning,
okay,
that show's done, bro. You know what we're doing on Friday? This was our Friday. We're contacting talent. Rock, I'm sending you the show. This is what you're doing. Austin, this is what you're doing. We're contacting talent on Friday, already telling them what they're doing on Monday. Now, think about this, bro. Now Austin has that script on Friday. Now Austin,
work on it. Yeah.
He's on the plane. He's looking at this. He's thinking about it. Think about that, bro. You're giving them like 2-3 days for that script to sink in. Bro, when we got to TV on Mondays, bro, nothing changed. What was written the prior week was the show. Nothing changed. Now, bro, don't get me wrong. There's a tweak here and there. Somebody heard somebody this. But, bro, ripping up shows and rewriting Monday at 2 o'clock, Bro, that show was in bed, wrapped up on a Friday, and by the time the talent got to the building on Monday, everybody knew what they were doing on the show.
And I mean, in regards to that, I mean, you see, the show is written. I mean, but obviously, for some of the undercard stuff, it's going to be a little bit, closer to Showtime that you're putting some of that together. But
no,
I mean,
not at all. Not at all.
I'm just saying for like the big storylines. Are you planning all of those out like months in advance?
No, not at all, bro. We're going the way we worked, bro. Was we went from month to month. Okay, so in other words, if we're doing Over the Edge, I don't even know if that's a pay-per-view. If we're writing Over the Edge, we know what the next pay-per-view is. So we're writing those 4 weeks. We're writing those week to week, bro, but we're writing it to the pay-per-view. We know what the pay-per-view is, but we're writing those shows week to week.
And were there certain characters that got builds like, storylines further out to try and build longer term, or was it all because you're just in that constant week-to-week struggle?
There was further out, like if we had a big idea, like the whole turn in Rock heel, and he joined the corporation, bro, that was like 3 months in the making. Like when we knew we were going to do something big like that, we would build that, over a matter of months.
Nice. When it comes to those booking moments, like what are some of your like proudest booking moments, the ones that like you look back on and you're like, that right there is like,
bro, the one story that always comes to mind was The Rock and the Corporation, because bro, that was a masterpiece. Like that was built over time. We knew exactly what we were doing. Everything meant something. You're not going to see a story like that in wrestling again, because you know why, bro? The structure won't allow it. When you've got 20 people involved and this one's reporting that one and this one's Raw and this one, and when can we get 5 minutes with Vince? The structure will never allow that type of storytelling again, bro.
Yeah, that was goddamn. That was a really fun run.
Yeah,
in professional wrestling, and just a really good time. Do you have ones that you look back on and you're just like, Jesus Christ, like, what was I thinking on this one?
Oh yeah, I mean, bro, there were a lot of misses. I mean, to me, the biggest miss that I'll never forget was the dog kennel from hell. Bro, the whole idea when we were writing this is, bro, we've got the picture in our minds of, bro, you got these rabid dogs ringside. I mean, foaming at the mouth.
The real junkyard dog.
Scary. Bro, I will never forget that day when the trainer walked in with the dogs. And I got introduced to the trainer. And, bro, I'll never forget, one of the dogs licked my hand. And I was like, bro, we're in trouble. Like, bro, we've got Sissy Mary dogs. We're in trouble. But you know what, bro? I got to be honest with you. That falls on me. I never took that into consideration. I just thought we were going to have these pit bulls that were looking to eat meat. I never thought, well, what if the dogs are really docile? I never even thought that. And then like that's what we got, and I was like, oh bro, this is absolutely horrible.
It was a classic though. I mean, it was one of those matches.
I mean, it'll never be forgotten. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It should be
better or worse.
I swear to God, bro, it's just so funny because I take 1,000% responsibility for that, but it never entered my mind. What if these dogs are not rabid? What if these dogs are somebody's pets? Like I never thought of that. And like, oh, bro, I felt so bad for Al and Boss Man, and I still apologize to Al to this day. But yeah, bro, that was terrible.
Was there any was there any heat or anger from Al or Boss Man? You know what I mean? When they came back, they weren't pissed off.
Al still still says to this day, like, it wasn't my fault. It was the dogs, but it was my fault because I should have said, well, what if they're not what we think they're going to be? I should have taken that into consideration, and I didn't. So it is my fault.
Wow. I mean, I like to blame the dogs, but
yeah, no,
dogs and wrestling just don't go together. You had what we have Cody's dog taking a shit on the ramp.
Yeah. And Matilda was always preoccupied. If you remember Matilda,
oh yeah.
They always had to tug her along to the ring, like, yeah, bro. Like I should have known better.
For the most part, yeah. The snake worked out.
Which one?
Damien.
Damien worked out. Like, but for the most part, animals aren't like the best.
I mean, bro, that that snake biting savage, like that's
what a moment.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That
still gives me fucking shit.
Yeah, man.
I don't like that, man. I don't like that at all. Oh, so these days you've been doing a podcast with Just Incredible. Is that what you've been doing?
Oh my God, bro, I do 15 to 20 podcasts, and I got Just Incredible. I got Shane Douglas. I got Stevie Ray of Harlem Heat. I got Stevie Richards. I've got Disco Inferno. I've got Taylor Hendricks. I've got The Beautiful People. I've got Dutch Mantel. I've got Kevin Sullivan. I got so many people under my umbrella doing podcasts that I always forget somebody. Tom Pritchard. That's why I hate running down the list. Big Vito, because I wind up forgetting people. But yeah, bro, I got into podcasting about 7 years ago. I have two platforms, russosbrand.com and patreon.com/RussoTWC. Bro, I do at least 3 to 4 podcasts every single day. Today I did podcasts with Disco. I did podcasts with Stevie Ray. And I love it, man. I love it. Bro, I can't, bro, I got to be honest. You hear about these, the Dave Meltzers and the Wade Kellers and all these journalists of the wrestling business, bro, unless you are in the fire, you can never understand, bro, the political atmosphere and the political hailstorm wrestling is. And bro, in this political warfare, you're trying to do your job. And unless you're in it, bro, you have no idea. You may think you know, you don't know. I'm a big baseball fan, bro. I don't know what goes on in the Phillies locker room. I've never been in the Phillies locker room. I'm a fan, bro. But my point is, with all the politics I had to endure, bro, for all those years, to be able to do this now, bro, and it's just me and just my people and just my friends, and we say what we think and we give our opinions and we critique stuff, and there's no politics, man. It's just such a freeing experience. Bro, I swear to you, if Vince McMahon called me tomorrow and offered me a multi-million-dollar deal, never in a million years would I turn in the peace and tranquility I have in my life right now to get thrown in that chaos again, bro. Never again.
I mean, just the fucking, like, the online fucking media shitstorm that would cause.
You have no idea. I put out this tweet the other day and I meant it, bro. The one thing I don't miss about the wrestling business is, bro, no matter how good you are at your job, no matter how hard you work, okay, there's always somebody that wants you gone. There is always somebody, bro, plotting behind your back, talking to other people, setting you up. That is the constant game going on in wrestling, bro. That's why I lasted 5 years at the WWE and only a couple of years at WCW, bro. You could take it for so long, and then it just gets to the point of, bro, this is not worth the money. I mean, for me to come to work for this every day, this is not worth the money they're paying me. That's why I'm so lucky to be doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it's got to be like a nice change of pace to be able to create your own content, do your own thing.
Yep.
And have that creative control again. So I definitely get that. So you watch a lot of the current product? You watching mostly AEW these days?
Bro, I said when I turned 60, which was in January, I said I am not going to wait. Listen, I'm 60, bro. I don't know if I've got to 65 to 75 to 80. I don't know, but I'm way closer to the end than I am to the beginning. So I made the decision. I am not going to waste a second of my time watching this horrible shit. This is horrible television. It sucks. I feel like an idiot when I'm watching it. The only show I watch, guys, is Raw. And the reason being, I get paid to watch Raw. That's why I watch Raw. There are a couple of people that pay me to watch Raw and critique Raw, so I watch Raw. I am not going to watch any other wrestling show for free.
Yeah.
You want to pay me to watch AEW and give you a synopsis? I will do that. Am I going to watch it during my leisurely time? Absolutely not.
So do you watch any of the NXT product, or do you avoid that one too?
Bro, I've probably seen a total of 5 NXT shows. Bro, I'll be honest with you. A lot of people were telling me early on, you need to watch NXT. You need to watch NXT. Okay, bro, I'll watch NXT. Bro, I was so turned off by the crowd, and the crowd was so obnoxious. I couldn't watch it anymore, bro. Like I could not watch that show anymore.
What year, like, do you remember what year this was? Was this like 2014, 2015,
well,
somewhere
bro,
around that time?
Charlotte was there.
Yeah.
This was, bro, I even think I watched around the time where Kevin Owens came in for the first time.
Yep,
Sammy was the champion, and Owens came in. Bro, that crowd was so obnoxious. I did not enjoy watching it.
It's like playing the Philly every night.
I told Dozer down there, who didn't really get to watch it live. I was like, "You're gonna get into some shit with the NXT crowd coming up soon." Because we've been watching like takeover by takeover, just on our own time, and I was like, "You do not understand." So. You heard from someone else.
They hijack every show.
It was so bad for like 3 years.
I hated it, bro. I couldn't watch it, man. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot better nowadays. Now that obviously it's a lot harder to get into one of the shows. But I mean, even more recently, like once they started traveling.
Yeah,
and getting out a Full Sail and like the same people every week, and like where they just got so comfortable. Like,
so
I think the quality increased a lot.
Just kind of piggybacking off of that, just kind of interested. What's your opinion on like a traveling, Raw or SmackDown, where they're in a new city every week, obviously in a normal time period, comparative to, like an early TNA, you know what I mean, where they're filming, at the same.
Bro, wrestling's dead, man. It's dead. Bro, they can go town to town. They can do whatever. Bro, listen. Wrestling is dead, and it's nobody's fault but the wrestling industry. They had a worldwide mass audience. Bro, remember the old original days of WrestleMania? What the world is watching? Well, bro, the world was watching the Attitude Era.
It was crazy.
They have managed to take that worldwide, global, massive audience, especially here in the United States, bro. And we've whittled it down to this little itty bitty niche audience. And that's what you have, bro. There are 2 million people that watch Raw and watch SmackDown. That is your core audience. They are never going to grow that. They are writing for the people who are already watching the show. Bro, listen, you guys watch AEW?
Occasionally.
I do.
I started and then they completely lost me.
Shane, I will tell you this. I watched AEW for a year and a half straight. I just stopped in January. So I watched it for a year and a half straight. But Shane, here's the problem, and I said it in a nutshell. A couple of weeks ago, they go unopposed with no more NXT. Okay? They do 1.2 million people. This wacko psycho Tony Khan is all over the place gloating over this 1.2 million. Gloating. Now, bro, you can go check my track history. Never once did I ever gloat over a rating, no matter how high it was, because you know why, bro? Here's why. I'm going to go out there and gloat over a huge rating. And then what do I do next week when the rating comes down and I'm the laughing stock? So I'm not stupid enough to gloat. This guy went out gloating 1.2. And I'm sitting there, I'm saying, bro, are you an imbecile? What you're going to look like an idiot when that number comes down. But my point is, Shane, so that number goes from 1.2 million to 1.1 million to 890,000 this week. You know why that is, Shane? It's very simple. When NXT went away on the same night, you had a lot of NXT loyalists that now we're going to try AEW because it's on a different night. Mm-hmm. So you had a lot of people sampling AEW for the first time, okay? The problem is, bro, you didn't hook them.
Yeah.
You didn't hook that audience. You're writing to an audience you already have. The audience watching that show is going to watch it regardless. You've got to go outside your boundaries. The wrestling business, bro, it's the incredible shrinking audience, and they've done this to themselves. It's nobody's fault but their own, bro.
Yeah, no, I don't love AEW like everyone else does. I enjoy it more than these two do, but I have plenty of issues with the product. I just have to be the guy that watches it. You know what I mean? Like,
I totally get that, but see, bro, that's the part. It's like, you know, bro, you got a guy like me that I realized that when I took over writing for the WWE, bro. We in 94, 95, 96. Bro, nobody was watching the WWE. And I was like, okay, bro, the marks are always going to watch this show. How do we get the rest of the world? That's who we have to get. And that's what we concentrated on. So, bro, you've got a guy here that knows how to get the casual television viewer. But to AEW, I'm the enemy. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really make sense, bro. If I can give you some advice of how you can expand the audience, but it's like, you know what, Shane, they want to do their little thing. This is the exclusive club and they don't want to let anybody in. And okay, bro, well, when your rating goes from 1.2 million to 890,000 in 3 weeks, don't stand there scratching your head and not understanding why that happened.
Well, and it's also like, it's really like, I mean, you talk about, okay, you get AEW fans coming or NXT fans coming over and viewing the product probably for, you know, the first time in quite a while. And like, if you can't get people who are already passionate or interested in professional wrestling and interested in your show, how are you going to get anybody else interested in your show?
Exactly,
like, honestly,
bro.
Like, how are you going to get somebody who doesn't care?
And bro, wrestling is so ass backwards because, bro, I don't care what your product is. I don't care if it's a television show. I don't care if it's a candy bar. I don't care if it's a clothing line. The more people that are aware of your product, the more sales you're going to have. It doesn't matter if it's wrestling, if it's it doesn't matter. The more eyeballs you have, the more income. So you want to get the eyeballs. You're not going to get new eyeballs, bro, by catering to people you already have.
Well, it kind of all funnels back into a really, really classic Isaac quote, which is nobody is bigger than any company they're in anymore. You know what I mean? You don't have the Stone Cold. You don't have the Rock. You know what I mean? Brock Lesnar back in the day. You know what I mean? You don't have any of these guys, so nobody is seeing pictures of these guys and knows who they are. And like, I want to tune into this to see who they are.
And whose fault is that?
That's a lot of it is. I mean, do you think? I mean, for me, it comes down to Vince and being scared to allow anyone to be bigger than WWE for fear of them walking away from it. I mean, I think Rock and Brock Lesnar left a bad taste in his mouth as far as like.
Yeah, well, bro, Triple H did make that statement to Ryback, and he told Ryback nobody's going to be bigger than his company ever again, and they've stayed true to that word. The problem with the WWE now is, bro, they have suckered and worked such deals with Peacock and Fox and USA Network and Saudi Arabia. Okay, bro, literally worked these people believing into, oh yeah, bro, yeah, well, you're buying Austin and Rock. No, bro, they ain't buying Austin and Rock. They're buying shit. You made them believe. But the problem is, bro, they have so much money coming in right now. They don't care what they put on TV. All they're doing is fulfilling their obligation to Fox and USA Network. They don't care what they put on there, bro. They've got this guaranteed money coming from Peacock and Fox. No matter what they put on TV, that same money is coming in. So there's no incentive for them to make that show better.
I mean, the only incentive for them, honestly, now that they're a public company, is to their stockholders. They don't have any obligation to the fans. They don't have any obligation to anyone but the investors.
And that's clear. You watch Raw because you're paid. I mean, Raw is just a terrible show every week. It's just.
And bro, not only is it a terrible show, but bro, when you watch the show, it's cut and paste. They're just cutting and pasting from the previous week. That's all they're doing.
And not even the same matches over.
And not even the previous week, though. Like literally, not just like doing the same matches, but from hour 1 to hour 3, they're showing literal replays of the first hour and the third hour.
Bro, I said this the other day. I swear to God. I swear to God, when I'm watching Raw, there used to be an old game show called Beat the Clock. I swear to God, when I'm watching Raw, I'm thinking of Eat the Clock. I'm thinking there is a gigantic timer at the gorilla position, and it starts at 3 hours and starts counting down, and they're just eating time till that 3 hours is full. I'm telling you, they've got bro, they got a commitment to USA. We got to give them 3 hours of content. Doesn't matter what that 3 hours is as long as we give them something, and that's what the show feels like.
Yeah. Well, speaking of giant clocks and timers, we're getting real close to you having to go do another podcast. I have one final question. We had Justin Credible on our podcast, and I'm just curious: has he ever used the bathroom while doing the podcast with you?
Wow, he used the bathroom in the middle of the podcast.
It was a live video one like this. It might be my proudest moment as a podcaster.
No, he never did that with me, bro.
Wow, it was the best. I mean, he was kind enough to sit down, so it was quiet, but it was.
Bro, I work with this guy, John Paz, and John brings a lot of shows to Russo's brand, and one of them is the Sullivan Show. Bro, the greatest thing I saw about a month ago is Sullivan's doing the interview on his phone, and he's walking around with his phone. He's doing the interview. Bro, he goes right up to the toilet. It's pissing.
That sounds
pissing in the toilet. Bro, I thought that was the greatest thing I ever saw, bro.
Justin,
we got to see the anime room. It was fucking cool.
It was awesome. Well, this has been so much fun. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for hanging out.
No problem, guys. I appreciate you guys having me. I really do, man.
Absolutely, and it's been really truly an honor and a pleasure on my part. So thank you.
You wanna plug something real quick?
Yeah, again, guys, I just want to plug my platforms, man. I've got 2 platforms. There's different shows on each platform, bro. No long time commitment. It starts at 75 cents a week. You can go to russosbrand.com or patreon.com/RussoTWC. Pick and choose what you want. But what I love about our network, bro, is I say it all the time. It's kind of where the pros are the pros. Like, everybody on my network, they've been in the business and they can really give you insight of what's going on, and they don't claim to be something that they're not. So just check out those platforms, man.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Go do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you again. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We've been such good shoot.
Point the right way this time.
That's Shane.
Yes.
That's Isaac.
Yes.
That's Vince friggin' Russo.
Yes.
I'm Dozer. And we'll see you next week at 10:05, where I don't remember what we're reviewing, but we're reviewing something. We have to look at our calendar.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great night.